Hi guys, and welcome to the Aussie Expat channel. I'll be showing my review of four mid-range, mid to high end, depending on where you're coming from, razors today. So the four razors we've got are the RazoRock GameChanger, the Rex Supply Envoy, the Rex Supply Envoy XL, and the Feather AS1. These all represent relatively easily accessible razors. I got these all off Amazon. They all have free returns, which means, if you make a mistake, you can always return them. And that's what I intend to do. I did make a mistake. I thought the Rex Envoy was going to be it for me. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. So without further ado, please like, subscribe, and let's get stuck into it.
Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. Could try to play, but you're never gonna be.
So the first thing I want to do is a sort of a disclaimer in case you are new to double edge safety razor shaving. The main thing is the reason to get into this has really got nothing to do with getting a closer shave. And it's not going to save you any time, that's for sure, or potentially money. There may be a false economy involved here at some point, but let me get to that. So the reason I shave is I want a clean shaven look, but it doesn't have to be that perfect. For the most part, convenience is king for me, and I use an electric shaver. About a year or so ago, I realized that with a talking head video, the electric shave wasn't really close enough, and I started looking at disposable razors. And to be honest, that whole field of razors is kind of annoying and expensive, but they do an excellent job. And quite frankly, let's get to the short aspect of this. If you're looking for a closer shave than say the top of the line razor, disposable cartridge razors, out of a double edge razor, you're probably looking in the wrong place. Like maybe some people, some razors, some techniques, they're getting a closer shave. I don't think that's why you should be looking at one of these razors. Some of these razor manufacturers are actually quite honest about it. I saw there's like a one blade razor and they advertise that you go with the single blade, not because it does the whole cartridge thing where it will, lift the hair follicle and then cut underneath the point which, when it retracts underneath the skin. They're saying like this is a negative. So it literally will not give you a closer shave. At least that is the case for me. And I think that's a realistic position. But it's really about ultimately the experience. And if the shave is close enough, then maybe it saves you money too. But then eventually you're going to want a razor that costs as much as this, and then you're going to have to decide, did you really save a lot of money? I've certainly seen the very high end of this particular collector's hobby, and people are spending a lot of money doing this wet shaving. But anyway, if you're just looking to get started, I just recommend getting almost any razor on Amazon that's like under 40 bucks, and that'll get you started, and you can end there too. The only reason to look, for me anyway, like other people can do their own thing, other people get cheaper watches, that's fine. I got more expensive watches, that's fine too. They both tell the time, mine probably less accurately than a Casio, and I've got Casios too. But with respect to a razor, you don't need to spend more money than that $40 Mercor or something like that. The whole reason for this whole hobby is really just pleasure. And now, for me personally, I didn't have a lot of things to remember my dad by. So my dad passed away quite a long time ago, and I've always felt something a little wrong about I literally don't have anything physical of his that is still around. There was nothing that he owned that was of heirloom grade quality, something physical that I could attach a certain emotion to, a little reminder. It's sort of a little bit of the reason why I got into sort of higher end watches, that I would have something to help remember a special occasion, like my kids, my son being born, my daughter being born, that sort of thing, and hopefully eventually something for them that I could hand down for them to remember me. One of the only things that I did have for a little while was my father's shaving kit. Unfortunately, he didn't have anything that was heirloom grade in the shaving kit either, but I did use it for quite a number of years in my 20s. I used the brush until it fell apart. He didn't have a razor, so there wasn't that to keep around. So when the brush fell apart, there was really nothing left of the shaving kit apart from the case. The case wasn't made very well, and that eventually fell apart too. So I've been thinking recently, if there's some things that you can buy and buy once and then never have to buy again and potentially hand down, maybe now's the time to get it. You know, I've got young children. They're still at an age where this will, you know, still be the majority of their life if they eventually, it gets passed down to them. And I get to enjoy something of very high quality for the rest of my life as well. So, you know, sort of like the buy once, cry once type thing, except, you know, a generational thing. Now, I wouldn't spend high-end amounts of money on anything other than something that could genuinely last generations if there's a cheaper option. So when it comes to these razors, these things are already obsolete, much in the way Swiss mechanical watches are. So I'm just looking for quality, something that will work to shave with and will also last a lifetime and be quality for a lifetime. So I'm really looking for the use of stainless steel, good quality machining, a design that will hold up, and a pleasurable experience. And I'm trying to do that for as little money as possible. So the first one that I tried out was the Rex Envoy here. Ultimately, I really like the design, but on this example, there's some issues with the tooling that they've used to create this jimping here, where it just seems to be gouging at the steel a little bit. So it's got relatively inconsistent tooling marks. And from sort of a consumer product perspective, this is pretty forgivable. But if this is something I'm going to have to look at for the rest of my life and I'd like to hand down one day, this really isn't that acceptable. So every aspect of this, I like the design. The shave is sort of medium in intensity and effectiveness. Overall, I really like it. This example, the tooling is a little bit off. So then I got the feather. I really like the design of this feather. It's Japanese, really nice, you know, easy access to the razor in terms of water and shedding. It's just overall a very, very pleasing razor, very well balanced, and it really didn't feel like much on the skin. And that's because it's a little too soft. It's not very aggressive. I find that you need more than one pass to really have an okay shave here. While, yeah, for ultimate smoothness, you do want, you know, 2 or 3 passes, maybe even on a good razor. On this, you need the 2 to 3 just to get the hair down, quite frankly. The other aspect is, while the design is really nice, it's all stainless steel. They've used a coating, and I really don't know if the coating will hold up. It, to me, is not that pleasing. I'd rather raw stainless steel with a satin finish or, you know, polish finish, whatever. The coating just looks cheap to me. And this is also not a machined product. It is clearly some sort of molding. And overall, it's pretty pricey, $170, so more than the Envoy for not a machined product. So the next one I picked up right pretty quickly is the RazoRock GameChanger. And I think if you just wanted a higher end razor, but you didn't really worry too much about heirloom grade, this is a phenomenally cool razor. It's only like $85 or something like that, but it looks beautiful. This chrome makes it look outstanding, and the aggressiveness of the grip here is really, really cool. So overall, this is a very good quality razor, but because it's not raw stainless steel, it's chrome. I don't like coatings for something lasting for a very long time, quite frankly. I prefer raw steel. And I'm also not too happy about the design at the end here, where the grip jimping sort of meets smooth polished finish at the bottom of the base. It's just doesn't ring my bell, basically. It doesn't do it for me. So last but not least, and the actual winner is the Rex Envoy XL. This is just a longer version of the Rex Envoy. I did have some issue with the Rex Envoy being too short. No, too short. It's just a comfort thing. I would prefer something where, my pinky doesn't hang off the edge and the balance is a little bit more towards the center as opposed to the, hanging off the grip. So overall, the design I like better, but more importantly, the example of the Rex Envoy XL actually has no tool marks along the jimping. So it's a far better example than the Rex Envoy. So ultimately, my pick of the bunch here is the Rex Envoy. If I wasn't as concerned about the heirloom grade stuff, the RazoRock GameChanger is an easy win here. And ultimately, I think the feather is really nice, but I think almost it's probably a really nice one to start with, but you're gonna outgrow it just because it's not aggressive enough at cutting hair. So this softness makes the feather probably the best gift for someone who has never actually done wet shaving before. They're more likely to have a pleasant experience and continue using it. And it also happens that the feather has by far the nicest box. It's quite pretty. Conversely, the Rex Envoy, it is a nice box, but recycled look, a little bit more vintage inspired. That's okay, but unfortunately inside the box they're using a packaging that basically sheds what looks like some kind of fur. My first impression of the Rex Envoy when I opened it was that, oh my goodness, this is someone else's hair all over it. And that's not really a good gift experience. So if you happen to pick up the Rex Envoy, take it out of the box, it's not sealed or anything, and give it a good clean so you don't have any of this fur all over it. Otherwise, just stick with the feather. All right, until next time, see you around.